Triple plus awesome. You guys rock the free world, all of you. Thank you so very much. Somebody, I think it was David, talking about having a subversive poet, and you should watch him. And I just now have to say, at the open mic that I ended up taking over in Chicago, there was a convicted, I think there was a murder in the attempt from a robbery from Norman Porter, somebody from the East Coast, who then ran to Chicago and took on the name J.J. Jameson and read poetry all the time, which I didn't think was good at all, but there's your subversive. And I think somebody thought that he was good enough, and they put his photo up on the internet and said, Poet of the Month is this guy, and the FBI found it and they caught him. Which, there's your little story. So some of us can be subversive, I guess. I don't know. There's a little history lesson or something for you. Anywho, poetry. Sorry, I'm back to that. Now I'm done. I'm going to share with you three poems from the 2 new issues of the literary magazines I run here at Scars Publications. First poem I'm going to read with you is from the cc&d November 2021 book that is titled Down and Inside. It looks like a cover of Down in the Dirt, because this seems like the kind of thing it would have, but this is a lava tunnel and it just looked cool. And there's a piece of writing in this book called that. So I thought, because somebody actually said that they liked this poem when they got the issue, so I'm going to share this one with you. It was actually written on the 7th of November, not this one, not today, one in the past year, for the 1867 birthday today of Marie Curie. This poem is titled Opened the Door for All. Born in Warsaw, the youngest of 5, she did well in school, but it didn't matter when women were not allowed higher education. Undeterred, she even made deals with professors to work there for free so that she could also illegally go to school before schooling in Paris. Well, there she found her love in Pierre. They married, gave each other bicycles as wedding presents, while she wore even a black dress to her wedding, so that she wouldn't have dirt show up when she went back to work. And work she did, separately from Pierre, until she discovered radioactivity, and Pierre put his pride aside and worked to help his wife. After his accidental death, it was a heartbreaking loss for her, but she took over his teaching post, making her Sorbonne's first female professor. She discovered radioactivity, but also a new element named for her home country. And in World War I, she developed portable X-ray devices that they nicknamed Little Curies. The Great War didn't get her, but her love of her studies did, as working with radiation so long and keeping vials of radium in her lab pockets daily would be too much, even for her genius. People truly admire Albert Einstein, which she worked with, but for women, and for all of humankind, this woman faced more obstacles than most and opened the door for all. Your little Marie Curie story right there, Marie Curie, and that's today. Today is her birthday, and it was written on her birthday for that yippee skippy. Now I'm going to share with you 2 poems from the other literary magazine I run. Down in the Dirt, it is November 2021. There's a piece of writing in it that is called A Door is a Door is a Door. And I've been everywhere and been photographing doors like mad, and I never thought that, I could have a front and back cover filled with different kind of doors. I've got the door at the thing at Gettysburg and things in Paris, and but I'm like, I've got all these weird doors, and hey, there's actually a use for it. If you'd like to see a better version of this, you can go to scars.tv/dirt, or just go to scars.tv and 1 click away, but there's just lots of doors on this thing. So I'm going to share with you 2 poems from the end of this. Pardon me? Crazy.
Adorable.
Adore is adorable. Anyway.
Adorable.
I'm going to share with you 2 poems that I believe relate to dates in November as well, though they're not today. That was Marie Curie in the other one. But this one is written on the 13th of November, and it's on Sadie Hawkins Day. Sadie Hawkins Day. This piece is called Judged on Looks. I've vaguely heard of this holiday before, maybe in high school, where the premise is that women asked men to dances. Because, you know, this was a ludicrous idea. The men were the ones that were supposed to be asking the women out. And back in high school, I even went so far as to ask a male friend of mine to go to prom. We were just friends, but I wasn't going to have a boyfriend date, and I thought that this friend would probably be the most fun to hang out with in this real ritualistic high school holiday. But I just read that the origins of this holiday were from Al Cap's comic strip, Lil Abner. Lil Abner, where Sadie Hawkins was actually homely and no one wanted to be near her. So her father had all these single men run out of town, and the only one she caught would be forced to marry her.
Recording in progress.
They'd be forced to marry her. And now this popular section of a comic strip incited future Sadie Hawkins dances, where women were the ones who would be asking men to a dance. And yes, looking back, it may seem ludicrous, and we women may say we have more power now. But in the same breath, it's also funny that a silly story in a comic strip may have helped to incite change for women. All because a comic book woman was ugly and wasn't married by the time she was 35. Sorry that we're still so judged on looks, woman. So let's just keep working past sexism in that uphill battle in this patriarchal society, even when an old comic strip is our first stepping stone. Crazy idea. Crazy idea. But I mentioned this to Louise. This poem, the last one I'm going to share with you, is from this book, and adores, adores, adore. I don't know if it's an adorable poem, but this was written this was written on the 22nd of November for the 1963 day that President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. So this was written on this day, and it's called People Forget Politics. There are brief moments in history when people forget their political affiliations. There are brief moments where something sudden happens and it makes people stop. Barack Hussein Obama, a very leftist Democrat, touted his Illinois ties to Abraham Lincoln, a Republican president, and hoped no one would notice the difference. But what we remember is that Lincoln was fatally shot, and we remember the injustice of such a hasty, rash act. Republican President Ronald Reagan said to operating room surgeons after he was shot, "Please tell me you're Republican." But as I said, at times like these, we forget our political affiliations. We only want to help or lend a hand, unless the news is so shocking to believe, and we all can't shake that state of shock. We see the news, we hear the news, we read the news, and we think, this can't be. This isn't supposed to happen. But here we are. And for a brief moment, humankind forgets our political affiliations, and we try to figure out how to put the pieces back together before we can unite and move on. Ta-da! Whether or not it's adorable, which I doubt. It's from the book Adores, Adores, Adore from Down to the Dirt, and I am triple plus pleased that I get to hear 3 poems now from Mr. John F. McMullen, probably from the newly released Scars Publications book of his poetry, Collected Poems 2008 to 2010. So please, John F. McMullen, take it away.